This video is releasing on the day of Joe Biden's inauguration as the 46th President of the United States and covers something that sources say he intends to do on his first day in office. Originally, the video that was going to come out today was going to be about the impact of minimum wage increases. However, after hearing about this topic, I couldn't help but do a video on this instead. A video on the minimum wage will be released on Friday, with another more conceptual video on this coming Sunday, which will likely be the beginning of a new series on this channel. As always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It appears that the Biden administration has committed to, by executive action, lifting the permit on the Keystone XL pipeline. My view is that this is either an encouraging sign that they intend to take the ongoing climate catastrophe seriously and will commit to a green transition consistent with what scientists say is required, or that this could be a largely symbolic action that might even be a net negative for the fight against climate change. Only further actions can say for sure. As I suspect that this type of interpretation will be uncommon, though obviously there will be climate change deniers who see this cancellation as bad for reasons of private profit, I will start with my negative interpretation. Do not mistake this for any type of climate cynicism. My view on climate action is that we need to more or less freeze every bit of global fossil fuel production and consumption that we possibly can with the urgency of a competent pandemic lockdown, with the resource leveraging, severity, and pain tolerance of a world war. Firstly, let's look at what the Keystone XL pipeline actually is. It is not an entirely new pipeline system, but an expansion of an existing one. It would ship additional unrefined tar sands oil from Alberta down toward the Gulf of Mexico while picking up oil from other sources along its path. Once in Texas, it would take advantage of bulk refining from existing infrastructure in Texas before being exported to Europe and Latin America. It's important to recognize who would be consuming this oil. For all the talk of energy independence that usually comes from the defenses of fossil fuel infrastructure by those on the political center and political right, this oil would not be for American consumption. As for those on the political left, it should be considered that this oil is being exported, meaning that someone is importing it, and that they are importing it because they want it. Therefore, not building this pipeline probably won't put a dent in the continued consumption of oil within the United States, and presumably the places that would have bought this oil will get it from places they currently do, ultimately doing little to nothing to decrease carbon emissions, unless those places forego their consumption due to higher prices, something more likely for Latin America than Europe, which means any emissions decrease from this move would entirely be on the back of decreasing living conditions in the developing world, the global south. It'd be a tragedy if this is a signal that climate action under the Biden administration would primarily occur by foisting the costs on the global poor. While this move itself would do no grave damage, it could signal a strategy that would risk harming global cooperation. As truth be told, the developing world isn't going to accept being kept poor just to deal with an issue which the developed global north is primarily to blame for causing. However, and this is where I can pivot to a more positive outcome, it's possible that canceling this pipeline represents a commitment to aggressively lowering global emissions. If that is the case, yes, any and all new pipeline projects should be shut down, regardless of who would be consuming the oil, with funding provided to ensure a seamless, if not outright gainful transition from fossil fuels to cleaner sources of energy. However, it's hard to believe that an administration that committed to defending fracking against science in the 2020 election would take such a path, but it's not impossible. Only future choices can say for sure. Climate action in general is going to have to involve a lot more than cutting down on fossil fuel consumption and production. Wherever a metaphorical carrot cannot be provided, a metaphorical stick will have to take its place. And that's simply not something that we want to come along with the scale of change that we need. I will dive deeper into this in a new series. And to tease it, my position is essentially that the way that we must undertake climate action globally is through decreasing pollution caused by intermediate consumption while increasing production for end-use consumption. I do not buy into the degrowth concept at all, and in fact, I think advocating it is dangerous. But as I said, that's a topic for another video. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.